to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jessy Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
There I am right now. I am your host, John Taman. We are down a man right now. I'm not sure where Scotty is. He said he might be a little bit late. And of course, we've got Keith's name on the opening, but what has Keith done? Like 5 shows this year? I don't know. He never does the pick show with us, which is fine. And I know he's coaching his son in basketball, which is fucking awesome. But yeah, so here we are. It's Jesse and I. We're going to discuss, I don't know, a little bit of Commanders stuff. There wasn't a whole lot going on this week. And then, well, of course, once Scotty gets in here, we'll take a look in the Big and Boss book and see how we did last week in the playoffs. I did quite well, I do believe. I did quite well. But
yeah, I think I should have done all right. I mean, I think I buffed the Buffalo pick, but I think a lot of people did that. I mean, Buffalo just didn't look like they wanted to fucking play, man.
Shit, man. You know what? They looked like they wanted to play. Cincinnati looked like they wanted to beat their ass.
Yeah, but you picked Buffalo, I believe.
I picked Buffalo to win, but I picked the Bengals to cover, so I was good with that. The thing that killed me this week was picking the over on the Cowboys in 40 minutes.
Yeah. Morning, Yam. How you doing over there in Japan? It's good to see you in the chat.
Sun's just coming up over there. I don't even know if the sun's up yet over there. Yam gets up early. That's all right. Well, you know, I tell you what, the only Commanders news there really is this week is that there's no news. They still haven't found an offensive coordinator. I don't know the status.
New owner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the status of any of these interviews. I don't know which way the wind is blowing on any one or any of them. So go ahead and talk while my wife comes in and the dog's barking.
There were some reports out that it's Ken Zampese's job. I don't believe that whatsoever. I mean, they are still interviewing candidates right now. They also put a request in to interview former head coach of the San Diego or the Chargers. Damn, I can't think of his name or off the top of my head. What the hell? I think he'd be a good candidate.
Marty Schottenheimer.
No, not
I don't think he's coming.
Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn.
Yeah. He a defensive
No, he's always been an offensive coach. I thought he did kind of well with the Chargers. He's on the San Francisco 49ers staff right now, but I'd welcome him. That'd be
Can't
fine.
knock their offense for sure.
Yeah. So the search is still on, and to be honest with you, I think Ron is doing the right thing. He's getting all the information before he picks. He's not just going to settle on someone. And I'm telling you, I talked about this last week. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he is waiting on the Chiefs' run to end so he can get Eric Bieniemy in here for an interview.
He's allowed to interview him next week if they win.
He's allowed to interview him next week, but some coaches are declining interviews until after the season is over with.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I we'll talk about that guy. I guess we always say that. I guess we'll talk about it, but might as well talk about him. I think that there's our boy Scotty. Hang on just 1 second here. Let me pull up his
Keith Jr. Mr.
Hello.
I'm gonna start calling you Keith Jr.
Sorry.
I hope you have a note.
Yeah, I do. It was called my own podcast, but hey, never mind.
Oh well, I guess you should have brought Scows in with you, and you should have paid your electric bill because I can't see you at all.
Oh, what? Seriously?
You need a light on your face.
A little dark.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, look how good I look. Look how good I look.
You look good. You look very good, and so does Jessy. So,
why thank you,
distinguished gentleman. That's what we've got on today.
Thank you. He leaves Scouts and comes to us. Our distinguished gentleman. Damn, Scouts, that's pretty bad. All right, so what we were talking about is the Commanders and their offensive coordinator search. The thing is, though, Jesse, you just said in the same breath that you're glad they're doing their due diligence. They're looking outside the box, and yet you think it's going to be nice, good old safe Ken Zampese.
No, I don't. I think you heard me misspoke a little bit. I said there was reports stating that it's going to be Zambezi. I don't think it's going to be. I think if it was going to be him, he would have already been hired.
Oh yeah, why waste time?
Yeah. So, yeah. What I just think you misunderstood what I was saying. No, but the fact of the matter is that he hasn't been hired yet. It should tell you something that I just don't think it's going to be it. And I don't think Ron's leaving, a stone unturned. Whoever he's bringing in, he's had some good candidates. I was sad to see Thomas Brown leave without a, signing on the dotted line.
Nobody. I see. That's the thing. I haven't heard anything in terms of how they've liked anybody or disliked anybody.
Nothing. And I don't know if
that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to hear anything. I'm glad they're letting us know that the candidates, candidates are coming in, and when the interview's over with. But you know what? Not many teams right now are signing on the dotted line at this moment.
No, that's right.
The other teams are keeping their options open as well too, because obviously teams are going to want to try to pluck off these, high-powered offenses, especially the ones that are still in the playoffs right now. And yes, teams like San Francisco or D'Amico Ryans is getting head coaches interviewed during the week, but I think head coach is a little bit different than your offensive coordinator, So, I'll be honest with you. If I was D'Amico Ryans, I wouldn't accept an interview until after the damn Super Bowl or after my team is all said and done. But I understand that job might not be open.
There's only a few of them.
So
there's only a few of them. The Texans I saw were interested in him.
Yeah, and I could definitely see him taking that job. And that's where he was drafted at, and he played for many, many years in the league. I think he's probably the hottest coaching candidate right now. I was shocked to see Frank Wright being hired by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
That one was like, are you fucking shitting me? I mean, listen, granted, Wilkes, he was an interim coach, but if
he did well, he did very well.
If you're going to go
6 records,
if you're going to go outside the box like that, you're going to hire Reichs over Wilkes. That just didn't make any sense to me.
The 6-6 is a 500 record, but for an interim coach with 12 games to go, God damn it! All right,
and he kept them in games in almost every single game. I was impressed with Steve Wilkes. But I think a lot also, with the Saints job too, and there's a lot going on with Sean Payton and the Saints contract that he had. Because he retired and it wasn't he didn't that ordeal. I think that's going to have some stuff to play in these few coaching vacancies, but I'm okay with them not naming an offensive coordinator right now. Look, interview them all, interview everybody. Fuck it,
I know. What do you think about Anthony Lynn? Have you spoke about that one yet?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit. Like I said earlier, I would be more than happy with him coming on. I'd be perfectly fine with that hire. I think that would be. Would it be? Is he at the top of my list? No, Eric Bieniemy's at the top of my list right now. But he's not too far from that.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because it's one way or the other. And I've just spoke about that before, saying if we're in a lame duck coach year with this regime as it is. Do you get the guy who is unproven and young and wants the OC job and could potentially see himself as the next head coach and says, hey, I'm not really part of this setup. I've only been here a year, and tries to impress a new owner that comes in? Or do you go for an old steady hand who's been there before, who Ron trusts and knows? Or maybe it's all a smokescreen for Ken Zampese.
See, that's where I see Eric Bieniemy coming into place here, man, because he's been talked around the league for a head coaching job, but he needs that, full-time play caller status, and I think this would be a perfect opportunity to get that. It's not an excuse. It's I think facts, man.
No, I think it's an excuse. I mean, that might be the facts why they're not interviewing, but he has interviewed. He just hasn't done well.
Yeah, he definitely has interviewed.
You don't necessarily need to have play calling experience to be a very good head coach in the NFL. I just think that there's a lot more to it than that. Most of the time, most head coaches delegate, and that's what they're good at. They get good staff and they delegate very well. They get a good scheme in place, and they really just kind of clear the way for the people that can run it.
Well,
That's what I think that a good head coach does.
When you have Andy Reid vying for you and having your back and putting your name out in there and wanting you to go get, Andy Reid is probably one of the most respected coaches in the entire NFL.
Sure, he's got a couple of coaches off his tree, and Peterson right now is definitely impressing everybody.
Yeah, no doubt.
Here's the other side of that coin right there with Doug Peterson, because when Doug Peterson took the job in Philadelphia, for one, I believe he looked something like this. And for two, he said, because they asked him that, have you been calling plays? And he said that, yeah, he had been calling plays. They just didn't tell anybody that he had been calling plays, that Andy had been letting him call second half plays for most of the season. So I don't see why Bieniemy would be any different in that regard, especially if Andy's like ready to throw him out of the nest.
Well,
and to be honest,
I said this record on his past too. There was an incident where he was arrested, so that does have a little bit to play in it.
I got arrested.
And I said this to you, I think, a couple of shows ago when we were talking through about Eric Bieniemy, and I said that I couldn't dig it out, I couldn't find it, but I watched an interview with Andy Reid, and he was saying he's been calling plays. But sure enough, you said you can look on the sideline and there's Andy Reid.
Yeah.
But look, I can tell you this: Andy Reid has also got himself a Denny's menu inside there. He's going, can I send down one of those one of those double egg sandwiches there? Yeah.
Oh, when you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you're up by like 4 scores in the fourth quarter, that play calling sheet is a little bit different than your first quarter play call. You know what I mean?
It says everybody run around in a circle in the huddle and do whatever the fuck you want.
That was amazing, by the way.
Dude, everything they do is amazing. I swear to God, Andy Reid, I'm telling you, by the fourth quarter, he's like, listen, fellas, I'm hungry. My blood sugar's been dropping since the middle of the third quarter. Just do whatever the hell you want. Get us out of here, goddammit. Yeah. Somebody go get me my candy machine.
I'm more concerned about losing Chris Harris, to be honest.
And I don't know what's going on with
I
don't know what's going on with that right now. It's kind of a lateral. It's a little bit of a bug
they call
because
him
he's the defensive passing game coordinator, assistant head coach.
But has he
actually
for
that shit?
Nothing has been agreed to yet. Okay, fellas. I think they're trying to work out the money situation. Like I think this is nothing that I've heard or anything like this, but since he hasn't signed, he's probably thinking, well, this is a lateral move. Why don't we just stay with my guys? So he's probably trying to get a little bit something.
I've heard he's in consideration.
Sorry, go ahead, Scotty. No, sir. Go ahead.
I've heard he's in consideration for other defensive coordinator positions.
Yeah.
Now, defensive coordinator is one thing. See, it's that assistant head coach or whatever they're going to call him. Whatever, it's that extra boost on his title. And I'll go old guy here. Joe Gibbs has affected the league with that shit because remember,
he had like a fucking shit ton of.
He had a load of coaches, and he was able to grab a bunch of
the equipment guy. You were the fucking assistant head coach,
right. And he was able to grab guys on lateral moves by saying, "No, we're giving him a promotion. He's going to be, assistant to the head coach." And in his first run, he affected the fucking injury reserve rules because he used to hide players all the goddamn time. He stashed quarterbacks. Mark Rippon had we don't know what the hell it is. It's a rare blood disorder. And they put him on IR for like 3 years, right? Until he was ready to go. And Stan Humphries, he did the same thing until the league said, you know what? Fuck off, Joe Gibbs. You're not allowed to do this shit anymore. That's the end of that. But so there. Old guy moment, up and done.
No, but like with Jam, I'd be totally happy and ecstatic for a guy like Thomas Brown to come and get some youth, some excitement.
I got news for you. I think Yam might be totally happy and excited with one of those pillows that look like one of those anime
Might be
girls.
right. But yeah, Thomas Brown would probably be one of the tops with him and Bieniemy, and then you go down to the Chargers. Anthony Lynn,
right?
Someone like that, and listen, it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is going to be if they don't solve the little position called a quarterback.
Well, I'm glad that it looks like we're going to go with Hal, at least at this moment, because he's the only one that they've got.
Ain't sold on that.
Here's the thing: you never sold.
I don't think they're going to be sold on that.
You never sold on a rookie until they do it, and that's all there is to it. And I don't, a lot of times a rookie that is not any good gets to play because of his draft status. Look at fucking what's his name up in goddamn New York, the mommy fucker up there.
There's been plenty of them.
The MILF punter up there, right? So, yes, the thing about his though is with Howell. Look, Purdy. You can look at Brock Purdy right now and see what happens when you just let him have a chance. The offense is very good around him. He's got a lot of weapons, and frankly, I'm not going to say that we're as good as the 49ers because we don't have the offensive line, but we've got weapons that are every bit as dynamic as they do, except for maybe Christian McCaffrey.
You can put our weapons up against any other teams, and it's comparable. I'm not going to say he's better, but it's very, very comparable.
But you got to start somewhere, and you got to start somewhere. He showed well. He showed well enough to me. I think that he's at least got to be in the discussion for the number one. He's at least to me. What he's done to me is he said, "Don't go out and spend a ton of picks on a Derek Carr. Don't do it. All right.
No, don't go up and jump up. Derek Carr might be getting cut if they can't find a trade partner before the Super Bowl. Derek Carr will be getting cut. Now,
that's a wholly different story.
Something. Yeah. That's a wholly different story. There's so many, and say they go with Sam Howell. I wouldn't.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't be that upset if they would hire Ken Zampese. Kind of stake for their familiarity for Sam Howell's sake. Just the things that I've heard about him having trouble learning a playbook. Maybe Zampese, that he's been here. What fucking phone is going on?
It's not mine. It's definitely a British phone. I keep expecting it's part of the wall. I keep expecting.
I thought you were doing a Jerry bit or something.
The wall is your favorite. Oh, that's no. Now we'd have to do Dan Snyder because he's over in England.
God damn it! What the hell's going on? I can't figure out what the phone sounds like, honey.
But
I think that was me.
For being,
of course it was
damn you, Scotty.
Nobody's phone over here sounds like that.
Yeah, that's true. I think that would help out Sam Howell a little bit more than have to learn a total new offense, new verbiage, new everything.
See,
that's just my opinion on that.
Here's the thing about that. I think that in the NFL, that is almost a given that you're going to have to do that once or twice. All right. I think that unless you're one of these wizards that has something super complicated, I've heard quarterback after quarterback say that as you're moving around the league, hey, Marcus, that most of them are essentially the same. It's more or less just learning the different calls and the different language that they use to be able to call essentially roundabout the same things. So I wouldn't call that the biggest worst thing. However, I'll go ahead and use our absent friend Keith and how he would always say it. The most fucking Redskins thing to do would be that we go through this big giant long search for 2 months for a fucking goddamn offensive coordinator and hire all these innovative minds and bring up Ken Zampese.
I think that might happen. I really think that might happen.
I mean, it could very well happen, but it might not be the worst. All I'm saying is it might not be the worst.
It might not.
Marcus, it had a cool point. Pep Helberty, I'll be okay with Pep, and with Steve Wilkes, I think he's too. I think he'd get a defensive coordinator job.
He
probably. He would take a defensive coordinator job before he'd sign on this.
He should get head coaching
coach.
Interviews.
I mean, we'd welcome him with open arms if that was the case. Don't get me wrong. And I would love to sign Brissett as a backup quarterback to Sam Howell if that's the direction they're going to go.
Now, I'll tell you what, Brissett, I wouldn't mind in that kind of regard, because that's for me right now. I think that's where I would like to be in this coming season is with Hal, some seasoned veteran to back him up, and
Andy Dalton would be probably my number one. Would be my number one QB to go to if we go with a Hal. I think he still can play, man. He played very well with the Saints. I mean, go look at his stats. He did really good. And listen, if Zampese is the offensive coordinator, I mean, the dude was in his wedding not too long ago.
That's fine. I'll tell you what, I think if we're going to go with a Howell, I have to throw Mr. Thurston Howell from Gilligan's Island in the mix. To get up to the line of scrimmage and call signals. Watch the 45's the mic. 45's the mic. Yeah. Anyway.
Switching topics here.
Yeah, that was
I log on Twitter once in a while, just and log off real quick because there's the same amount of stupidity on there each and every fucking day. But what's going on with this shit? Like, people are still up in arms about this goddamn hog mascot. I mean, like, really?
Nobody really is.
Are we still crying about that? Like,
I think it's because he's made a Twitter account, hasn't he?
So what?
Has he made a Twitter account?
So what?
So,
Yeah.
that means that, you know what that means. If he's made a Twitter account, he's actually halfway almost to being a Nazi. If you listen to half the people that talk about fucking Twitter anymore. All right. Oh my God, you've got a Twitter account. You must be a racist Nazi.
Yeah, man. I think it's getting.
Welcome to 2023, John.
Oh, excuse me. That's right. I cheer for the whites. There you go. For those of you that are listening and not seeing, well, look what you're missing. Look, Jesse's got one on his hat.
The Big and Boss book.
Not the Big and Boss book yet. I've still got something to discuss. Talk about Twitter. And one of the topics that I brought up this week that I wanted to talk about was that there are a lot of people I see out there. Lots of people are saying, gentlemen, that they want to re-sign A, Cole Holcomb, and B, Kaliki Hudson. Now, not too many people said Kaliki Hudson. I just had a discussion with a couple gentlemen this week about the Kaliki Hudson. That's all. But I don't get, and somebody today was talking to me about how that the linebacker really is not necessary at the way it used to be. Whereas I look at Fred Warner. I look at Fred Warner just destroying everybody, right? I don't think that he's not saying it's not necessary, but a lot of defenses are running 5-2.
Sure. But the linebacker is extremely important, especially in the fucking run game, man.
See, we get so enamored with fucking mediocrity around here, man. We're so used to it. Somebody's telling me Kaliki Hudson is the special teams ace, and I'm like, you know what?
Okay, at special teams.
He's okay, but you know who flashed at special teams for me was David Mayo. That dude was crushing people.
Sure.
But at the same time, Kaliki Hudson at linebacker, the same person pointed out, played very well against the Cowboys. I went and stuck my foot right in my mouth. And so I'm giving you credit there, Mr. Anderson, I think his name was. But yeah, I stuck my foot right in my mouth, which I want to do after a couple.
But the thing about it is everybody played well against the Cowboys.
But he did. He played pretty well against the Cowboys. Sure. The thing is, of our
he's
linebackers,
had 4 years to kind of prove himself to be a
do you spend a second contract on that just because he flashed and literally the last game before we can do a
veteran minimum for special teams. That's fine, but
you can get a rookie,
be back in depth chart type guy. But no, man, don't. And I'm fully willing to say goodbye to Cole Holcomb.
He's a guy. He's a jack.
Yeah,
just a guy.
Because you know what. There was 32 times 2 is 64.
64.
There's 64 other guys out there just like Cole Holcomb.
So there we go. Put that down in the Big and Boss book out there.
Actually,
32 times 2 is 64.
Actually, probably about 4 times that amount, just like Cole Holcomb.
Right. You see, the thing about Cole Holcomb is he's okay against the run, but the pass. I mean, God damn it. The thing that I will think about for the rest of my life whenever anybody brings up Cole Holcomb versus the pass is last year when he turned around at the snap, he turned his back to the quarterback and made sure that the safeties were going one way and the other way. And while the guy leaked out in the backfield, right? I think it was against the Cowboys. Yeah. Zeke fucking leaked out. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. You're not a traffic cop. God damn it. Chase your fucking man. So that's what I said to everybody. Let Cole Holcomb walk. Don't be enamored with mediocrity. You can get as good production, but he's a signal caller. You know what? After what?
Guess what? Jamin Davis is now the signal caller.
Right. Okay? It'll be his third year anyway. He should be able to do it.
Year 1. All right. Yes, we know that.
He's coming up on his third year.
But guess what? Cam Curl held the dot for 2 games, and Jamin Davis did it the rest of the way.
Right.
And he did perfectly fine. Actually, he did better than Cole Holcomb.
Holcomb
a lot better than Cole Holcomb.
People say, he leads the lead in tackles. And I'm like,
that's not necessarily a good thing.
No, your middle linebacker should lead the league or should lead your team in tackles. Him or the strong safety should lead your team in tackles. But when they're 4 and 5 yards downfield, I don't want to hear it. Yeah. I want to see him stopping people in the hole. All right. I want to see him flashing in there and making a hit when Allen's got a guy tied up and that freaking hole is opening up, go in there and make a hit. But he rarely does.
You saw that, especially starting in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, Jamin Davis do that. He would see the hole and he'd just fly in there. Cole Holcomb would wait for the guy to come in, and he got ran over more times than any of us could count throughout the years that he was here. I mean, talking about bowled over, and
I
he'd
mean-
be hanging on someone while the running back's like going 5 yards down the fucking field, and he's just hanging on the back like, hey, okay, let's go down.
Do you remember being like 5 years old playing football with your uncle who's just kind of walking down the field while you're
like
trying your best to tangle him up with every appendage you have?
Yeah, you're
he,
just
he
holding
tried
on
to
his
tackle
leg.
Derrick Henry like that. He was laying on the ground with both his legs and his arms up in the air. And I mean, yeah, he dragged him down, but okay,
look, I'm perfectly fine with saying goodbye to Cole Holcomb. That
right.
I
There's
will not shed
nothing
a tear.
about him that you can't replace. That's all I'm saying. So
no, I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah, Holcomb, Kaliki Hudson, Jags, they're nothing special,
right?
Nothing whatsoever.
Right. Second contracts for those
because
guys.
we did not miss him. We did not miss him when he went down.
I will say this: I would bet $1 that they will definitely re-sign Cole Holcomb because his father's grandfather's uncle used to know a guy that lived in the military, and Ron likes that kind of shit.
Possibly. I mean, it could, but it better not be for a big
lived in a
contract.
married quarter. Oh, jeez.
All right. So anyway, why don't we move to the Big and Bust book and see how we did? We've been making picks all year for all of you that have been paying attention, and I'm talking to you, Yamstarch, because really you're about the only person that's paying attention at this time of day. There it is, the Big and Bust book, and this is what's going to tell us how we're doing this year, how much money we've won, and how much money we have lost. I believe I won last week.
Yeah, I've just got this week's total. We'll have to do it at the end of the season when we total up everything. I've got it all written down, but I've just done last week's pick. So we'll start off with how we did against the scores, and we all predicted 3 out of 4. So the one that let us down was obviously the Bills against the Bengals. We all backed the Bills. Looking at this, Jesse, your 4-game parlay didn't come in at $50. No. Eagles laying the points, you put 200 on that, and that was a winner. Bills laying the points didn't come in, and the 50 on the under didn't come in. The Diggs and Allen rushing touchdown didn't come in. Jacksonville to cover the spread, which was minus 7.5. That did come in. And then we've got 50 on the over. San Francisco didn't come in, and laying the points 200 on San Francisco didn't come in. Your total bets were 700. Your returns were 640, giving you a minus $60.
That's all right. I've been doing good the past.
You did do well, yeah. John, you were also 3 out of 4 predicted correctly. New York versus the Eagle laying the points 100 gave you $112. Bills laying the points didn't come in. Jacksonville to cover did come in, as we spoke about. 49ers and on the over as well, 100 and 100 on that. Your totals were 650 bet. Your returns were 712, giving you a $62 profit.
There you go. Now, look, I'll tell you what. That means that Jesse and I offset one another, minus the difference of $2, in which that means I'm buying IHOP, but Jesse's paying the tip.
Definitely.
Here's the thing. I thought I picked the Bengals. No, I did. I picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
The cover. You picked the Bengals.
I picked the Bills to win. Now, the worst I did this week was picking the 49ers and Cowboys over.
Definitely.
Oh.
And then for myself, I had very similar bets to you. Lay the points on the Bills, 300 on the 49ers, just straight up, which gave me $42, which was $42. And then Kansas City, 250 on that, gave me $27. So my total put down was 650. My return was 619, giving me minus 31.
All right,
this week's winner
total, we're minus 20. We're $29 in the hole among the three of us this week.
But listen, like I said, we've been in the black for quite a while now. It was time for a little letdown. That's okay.
And it was all about the Bills.
The house got to make money too.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was thinking about putting the parlay down of Stephon Diggs stands there and screams at fucking Josh Allen on the sidelines, but I was too late getting it down. Look, you know what? We've got time. We're not just going to make our picks right now. We might as well talk about last week's games. And the Bills. I'm going to go ahead and say what everybody's thinking, because everybody doesn't want to say it because of Jamar or whatever. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Josh
Hamlin. DeMar
DeMar
Hamlin. Right. Because it's DeMar Hamlin. They don't want to say what everybody's thinking, but I'll go ahead and say it to the Buffalo Bills. God damn it. You guys are the most lovable fucking losers in the NFL. And I'll tell you what, we lose. You see my big W here? I got it on the wrong side here. Big W here, right? We lose. That's what the W is for. We fucking lose. But you guys get within a hair and lose all the goddamn time.
Oh, they do, don't they? They do.
I'll tell you, to me, everybody was telling me, I felt so bad for the Bills fans. Did you see them there in the stands? And yeah, I did. I saw them in the stands sitting there in the fucking snow with their faces looking all like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again. Jesus Christ, Bobby. I jumped through 6 tables this morning and got drunk before 11:30. And look what's going to happen.
The amount of fans I saw tailgating was wild. Like,
Bills Mafia,
ridiculous.
man. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I think the Bills Mafia is like one of the greatest fan bases there is out of professional sports.
Absolutely. That's why I'm having such a good time laughing about it. And you know what? It's all in good fun. That's all it is.
And they're not sore losers. They're not an asshole. I know a lot of Bills fans, and
because they're too busy freezing.
That's true. That's true. And I did feel bad for the Bills. I thought it was this year. I put money on it in the beginning of the season. It didn't work out. Shit happens.
I'd have felt bad for them if it was a piece of bad luck that happened, or if it was like a bounce ball,
they just didn't.
Bengals licked them.
Didn't turn up. They didn't turn up.
They did not turn out whatsoever.
Whether they turned up or not, it didn't make any difference. The Bengals said, we're going behind the woodshed, and we got this big ass bat, and we're gonna beat you with it. And they did.
Well, see,
they beat them with it.
I'm gonna. Well, listen, Bengals played great. That
run game was tough. Man.
Yeah, they were really good. But like you said it, their defense just didn't. They didn't have any they looked like they stayed up all night long and were just tired and wore out and just didn't want to be there. And their offense, like, when do you see a Bills offense just be like shit?
Well. Yeah, he never did connect with Diggs, and that to me is one of the top duos in the league. I've said it here on this show before.
Gibbs and Gabriel Davis, man, that's a great duo right there, and they just did not. Who scored the touchdown? I forget. Josh Allen scored their touchdown.
They had a good game plan for him. Even when Allen took off running, as soon as he got past the line of scrimmage, they close on him, and they were hitting him with big guys. Man, he wasn't running and all of a sudden finding himself against DBs that are trying to truck his knees because they can't take him down, and he can easily jump over them. He was getting hit by 260-pound men when he was taking off. And credit to the Bengals, man. They took it to him. They took it to him. Mixon was running right through him, hitting them hard.
What really impressed me with the Bengals was the fact that we spoke about it on the last show when we were doing the predictions, that they were out with 3 offensive linemen.
And they played great.
And they kept Burrow clean, man. I think where they had one sack against them. Yeah, but Burrow was pretty clean the whole game, man.
There's a Twitter account. This guy's name is Barry McCockiner, right? I don't know if you ever seen him or not. He's been around a long time. Now he just calls himself Barry, but yeah, Barry McCockiner. He just says stupid shit that's funny that people sometimes misunderstand. And he got picked up by Buffalo media for typing that the Bengals wearing white was camouflage and wasn't fair. And all kinds of people picked it up saying, look at the Bills fans crying and screaming about not fair because of camouflage. And that dude, he put up another thread. He was laughing his head off about it. And man, I feel it. I know exactly how you feel, buddy.
I don't like those white uniforms. They kind of bug me.
Dude, if they'd have worn the white helmets, I would have definitely said they had an advantage because of it.
Yeah,
I was having a hard time seeing them on television.
Isn't it so good watching the Cowboys lose in the playoffs?
Yes.
Look, Dak Prescott, I'm sorry. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I think he's average. I think he's mediocre. I think what the hell was he doing last week, man?
I'll tell you,
I don't know.
I'll tell you what he's doing, Jesse. He didn't get his sleep from his special sleep bed that he advertises.
You're probably right.
Probably what it was. He doesn't seem to show up when the big games count. They make a lot of noise early in the year, and people all think, wow, look at them. And, you should, because they do have offensive weapons. Losing Tony Pollard in that game hurt, but at the same time, Dak Prescott, for the money he's making, He should be able to. What is he like? $40 million a year. He should be able to pick them up and take that team on his back in a big game. That's when you become the big time Dallas Cowboys quarterback. That's what they've done.
Who really enjoyed that last play of the game when Elliott got trucked?
That was the punt returner Turpin.
I thought it was
Turpin.
Zeke Elliott snapped the ball.
it was Turpin. Yeah, Zeke Elliott snapped the ball, but it was
and he
Turpin
got absolutely trucked. But just rolled over. See ya. It was
Turpin. Well, yeah, that's what kind of fucked up the whole play because I saw before that snap, Turpin was over there talking to Dak Prescott, like, "Yeah, man, let's go. We got, let's go." Yeah. And then he turned around, he walked away. And I'm thinking, Turpin, he ain't caught a pass all fucking year, man. What the hell what is that? And they keyed right on him. Dak was the guy he was supposed to lateral to. Yeah. But because he was shoved in his lap, he couldn't get out of their backfield.
Do you have a player from any team in the NFL that you absolutely just hate, cannot stand, just wish they'd get trucked on a weekly basis?
Yeah,
Eli
there's a few.
Apple.
There's quite a few. I mean,
mine's Ezekiel Elliott, and
Kayvon Thibodeau.
He fucks up. I just can't stand him. I cannot stand him. I hate that, when he came out as a rookie, even at Ohio State, I hated him because the way he wears his fucking jersey, the way he does his spoon. I wish he'd choke on a goddamn spoon. I wish he'd turn his fucking ankle every time he jumped in that Salvation Army fucking. I cannot stand. I hate Ezekiel Elliott with a passion. Like I just want to punch him in the face. I just really, really, really want to. Yeah, that stupid spoon shit. I can't stand him. I fucking hate him. So that just makes me doubly happy.
Testify.
Was it the Bills at Thanksgiving last year who were eating turkey legs, taking the piss out of Ezekiel?
I think so. Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. But anyone for you, John? Who do you dislike the most? Then
anybody wearing a Giants
apart from Phil Simms,
Daniel Jones. I love to watch Daniel Jones.
Phil Simms.
Well, Phil Simms. Yeah, look. I love watching Daniel Jones get hit. All right. I love watching him get creamed. I think Kayvon Thibodeau has really gotten on my last nerve this year. And I anytime I can watch him get run over, I'm going to be very happy for the rest of his career, unless he, of course, comes here.
I'm going to be quite controversial here. I don't particularly like Aaron Rodgers.
I don't like Aaron
Rodgers. I don't think many people like Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you.
I just think he's a total prick.
I don't think if he was playing in Burgundy Gold next year.
Oh yeah, I love him.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
He can smoke ayahuasca in my back garden. I don't care. Come on over. I've got a shaman. It's fine.
Yeah, well, I agree with you so much. I hate that kid too, man.
Jackson Mahomes is a prick, and his wife is terrible.
Oh, Pat Mahomes, terrible. Yeah.
So, all right, what now? That's gonna, since we're all roundabout and around a circle. But Eric Bieniemy, we were talking about that, and that's when Scotty came in and interrupted everything, and everybody lost track of everything because Scott comes in, it's just a party. So Eric Bieniemy, you say that you want to bring him here, right?
Sure.
Okay, and I can see why, but do you think that he can operate here without a Patrick Mahomes?
I don't think you're going to. You're not going to know until you give him an opportunity. And listen, when we're talking about these faces of franchise quarterbacks, there's only a few of them out there.
Yeah.
But you got to you have to do something. You have to get somebody a chance. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you don't have your answer at quarterback, and you don't have your answer at, at least a halfway decent offensive line, you're stuck. You can't do nothing. You're going to be stuck at mediocrity until you find that player, until you find that quarterback. You can put all the pieces around that quarterback, and if he can't throw the ball to him,
yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to do?
You have to at least have the arm. You have to at least have the arm.
Yeah. So, I'd be ecstatic to give Eric Bieniemy a chance and say it is a lame duck year for Ron. And to be honest with you, if he makes the playoffs next year, I don't think I think he stays. But the fact of the matter is, say the new owner and Ron, they have a really good relationship. Ron's like, hey, listen, I'd like to stay in the organization, but let me move upstairs. You just don't know. The option is open. You could have your next head coach in waiting right there in the wings, just getting that shot.
Yeah,
so
but that's the thing. that's the thing. There's nobody there to make him that promise right now. And that's, if he's coming here, that's, I guess, would be the thing, because otherwise you're looking at it as a 1-year shot.
But anybody that's going to come here is going to be basically,
it's a 1-year shot, right? But Bieniemy should be at the top of everybody. He's been shoved up there on top of the head coaching list now for 2-3 years, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think this would be an attractive job for Bieniemy, because he's coming here. He knows he's the head offensive dog, and be like, listen,
right?
I'm out of Reed's shadow. I'm giving the league, not just for this team, but for other teams too. I'm giving the league the opportunity to see what I can do within offense. This is just me, not just the Andy Reid type offense.
The only thing that keeps him out of Reed's shadow is that DC would be on the East Coast, and Reed's shadow covers most of the West
Midwest.
Right, covers most of it. Did you know that when Andy Reid wears his big red jacket, that Google gets all fucked up on their maps because it just really dominates?
I thought he was getting sued by the Kool-Aid Man. I heard at some point in time.
You go on Google Maps and look at it, you can't tell whether you're looking at a restaurant or him. So anyway, for me, Bieniemy would be not my ideal choice. I'd go with it. Sure, why not? But I have what I don't want is the NFL to come into Jason's office and say, look, here's the guy that we want you to hire because we need this team to look better, So I don't want anything to do with that kind of thing. I want them to hire whoever's the best guy that there is.
Yeah, I think the team will just look better if they just find some competency and win some games.
Win more than half of them. Stop this spinning and mud wheels and all that shit. What do you think about Bieniemy, Scotty?
Yeah, I think it would be a good hire. He's obviously, as I said before, he's got coaching gig or coaching interviews for head coaching roles before. I don't think it's going to be a thing. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it. We haven't asked permission to see him or to talk to him yet about it. Whether we get that permission to speak to him or not, I don't know. It might be a thing. It's a lot of rumors but nothing concrete's come out. Everyone else you can see has said, Pat Shermer, Ken Zampese, Charles London, Eric Studesville, Thomas Brown, they're all coming. And then you've got
Studsville. That's my favorite. Don't say Studesville. Studsville.
And then Anthony Lynn, we've obviously spoke about a little bit there as well. I mean, he was a head coach for 3 years. Does he want to bring himself in to get himself back on the wheel? Or do you get the young, as I said to Jesse before, do you get the young guy who wants to prove himself to say, I'm not part of this. I've only been here a year, and then prove to the new owner, I'm the head coach in waiting. And that could well be Eric Bieniemy. We don't.
It could be Anthony Lynn as well. He's got head coaching experience.
That's true too. To me, I find it. I know we're got off the talking about.
We're good. We're talking football. It's fucking off season for us, boy, because we wear this big W. See?
To me, I'm not just because of the uncertainty in years past. I just don't know how attractive this job would be to, a young up and coming. A coach like that, because they probably want a little bit of stability, to be able to get their guns going for at least 2 years. Being able to put it out. But when you have Bieniemy's been in the league for a long time. Studsville has been in the league for.
He was a running back for the
really
Bengals.
Long time. Anthony Lynn's been in the league for the long time. So
old guy moment. He was the running back for the Colorado team that had Michael Westbrook on it.
Sure. Yeah. So
if you take an old guy or an older guy, they're not going to be short of another job opportunity if it is a 1 year.
Probably not. Yeah, like a Shermer, and I know this is against what everybody says on Twitter. I don't think Shermer would be a bad hire at all, just because of the fact of how experienced he is, and look at his resume as an offensive coordinator. He's a much better offensive coordinator than he was ever a head coach.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, but the thing is, they have options. They have options, and a lot of them aren't as bad as people may make them out to be.
I read a story that was saying that this is the 5th most attractive opportunity for a offensive coordinator out of all of the ones that are in the league. But actually, I think there was only 6 openings. So you're to the bottom of the barrel.
There have been.
Well, I think that's only because of the stability up at the top. That's
Yeah,
the
it's 10.
instability at the top speaking. And
Of course it is.
really,
Of course it is.
because of that, if there's 10 openings and they make us number 5, that's just lazy fucking writing. They're
Probably
just,
lazy journalism, yeah.
right. It's not journalism. This is just guesswork.
The
That's what
offense
this is.
itself, with the offensive personnel itself should be attractive minus the quarterback.
Agreed.
You know?
I agree
But
with you there.
if you're an offensive coordinator that likes Sam Howell, hell yeah, this is an attractive fucking place. You know?
Yeah. But again, that's the other thing is nothing's concrete again around Sam Howell. We're all assuming, and we're hearing rumors that they're telling offensive coordinator candidates that Howell's the guy.
Howell could be the guy.
You heard this rumor?
Right now, Howell's the only guy on contract besides Carson Wentz, and we know that Carson Wentz is gone. Howell's the only quarterback besides him and Jake Fromm, and who's going to fucking start Jake Fromm?
True. And then the other thing you've got to think about here as well is we are in a little bit of cap space hell as it stands at the moment. Obviously, when we cut Carson Wentz, if we look at cutting lots of other people, we could potentially have, shout out to Street Scores Rico on YouTube. He did a breakdown of it. We could have potentially 47 million going into the offseason.
Actually, could be more. It could be more because of the salary cap jump. They have not set the salary cap yet.
They haven't set the cap yet.
225 is what they reckon it's going to be, and I think it's 208 at the minute. I think so.
Yeah, it's probably going to be at least 20 mil. So that's what's going to add to it.
22 years of Snyder, all right, and what we've seen is,
I know.
Well, I know, no, don't go getting depressed. But you can be, but what we've seen is the wild swing of the pendulum. So we went from freewheeling, spending ungodly amounts of money, saying "fuck the cap," we don't give a shit, just shove it all down the road.
Josh Norman.
No, it's way before that. Fucking Albert Hainsworth, and way before that even. Way before that, even Bruce Smith and Deion Sanders, although Deion Sanders actually played pretty well for us, even though
he played a couple good, like 2 games.
I'll tell you a stat. Ready? Here's a stat. Wide receivers that year scored 4 touchdowns against the Redskins. Champ Bailey and Deion locked that shit down. I don't think Champ Bailey gave up a touchdown that year at all.
Deion had a couple good games. I think he was hurt in a few, and he ran 1 touchdown back. I think.
He got down to like the 3-yard line. He got tackled.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. I can't believe I remember that shit.
Well, see, if you're like me, I can remember that. But what happened on Sunday? Fuck, I don't know what.
Yeah.
But no, like the Jeff George shit. So we've seen wild freewheeling spending with no thought to anything, and now we've seen the opposite with Ron, which is don't spend anything. Don't spend anything. We're going to do this way and do this that way, and then we're going to spend a fuckload on this one quarterback. So I don't want to hear cap problems. All right, there's a happy medium in there.
Well, there is a happy medium, but the fact of the matter is, there is one man that still has to sign these checks.
And right now, we don't know who that is.
And this one, well, for right now, it's still Dan Snyder. I mean,
now let me ask you this. That just brings up a question. A team that's like this, that's in a flux, all right, because I know for a fact that's why Trent Green left, is because he didn't know who was going to be his. He had nobody to negotiate with. He was coming up on free agency. We looked like we had an actual quarterback. He had been, here and growing for a while, and he left because we didn't have anybody to negotiate with him. So does the NFL, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. Well, that's another old guy thing. Now, threw me all the fuck off. Tell me what I was talking about, Scott. Hurry up.
You were talking about who signs the checks.
What's going to happen?
So does the NFL have some kind of a way to say that you can negotiate in good faith with free agents, even though you don't actually have an owner?
That's tough. But one person that would know that question is Ron Rivera, because he went through this process, when David Tepper became the owner of the Panthers. So I forget. It might have been on a John Kine podcast when he had someone.
That's exactly where I was going to say.
It was talking about this. It's kind of a murky situation. Dan Snyder does not have to sign anything.
No, he doesn't.
But the fact of the matter is, I think they still can play within the confines of the salary cap. They should be able to. The NFL should be able to say that
for one, an owner coming in is going to have to be able
that
to
money
match
has to be put in escrow.
That's right. Yeah.
An owner coming in is going to have to be able to meet payroll, and the payroll is the minimum of the maximum. Is this?
That's
the salary cap.
The question is, when does that transition take place? Because
that's it, and that's the flux of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because of the fact. Yeah, because of the
fact. Does the NFL guarantee that
it's not guaranteed. That's the thing. It's not guaranteed because if Dan Snyder doesn't have the liquidity to be able to put that cash into escrow, I mean, it has to be part of the contract, because whoever the new owner is, it has to take all that money on. So it has to be part of that stadium sale. So because you're selling everything, you're selling the land, the players, the freaking electric bill, uniforms, fucking everything,
everybody's cup, everything.
So when you were right, Jesse, it was a kind podcast, and they got a local journalist from Carolina on to talk about this exact situation, and he was saying it was weird at the time because at the time of the sale, they had the interim owner, which was David Tepper, and they had the current owner, whoever he was, and it was said it was very strange because they were going into free agency and they were saying, right, Ron was going to the owner and then saying, we're going to sign this guy. But then he was also going to the interim owner and saying, we're going to sign this guy. So it was almost like it was double signed off.
Yeah,
what they were doing.
And that would be perfectly fine. But the fact of the matter is
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not
I
necessarily
got no idea where that comes from.
Like Dan Snyder could be like, I'm not floating that check.
Right. Now, right. Well, see, like, okay, I'm not talking about like the owner would be able to sign off on a player, right? Because the owner might, like, our owner definitely has a say in, okay, we want this guy or we want that guy, because he's a dipshit owner that doesn't just get out of the way. But I would think that the NFL should be able to say that despite, even if we don't have a sale by March 1st or whatever it is, March 6th or whatever it is. Right. That we can negotiate in good faith, and that the checks would be covered for the salary cap of the following year while this all gets sorted out. They're not going to sell to somebody that can't afford it, right?
Covered.
Right.
It's the signing bonuses.
So the fact of the matter is, one, they don't have a buyer right now, and they could at any second. But the fact of the matter, when is that sale going to be finished? When does Dan Snyder feel like getting his paws off the franchise? And until then, Snyder still controls everything. Snyder's signing those checks, and if you don't want to sign the fucking check, there's no rule saying that you have to spend all your salary cap.
No,
there's no rule.
You know what I mean?
There is a minimum. There's a floor. You have to spend the floor.
Yeah, but we've carried over $7 million from this year.
Sure.
So we're not.
This is what I was just saying. Ron's been frugal as shit with the cap. All right. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear it anymore. All right. You can see that teams like the Eagles, and I mean, they've been doing trading with draft picks and things like that. But man,
but I don't think that this year in particular, I don't think it's up to Ron. They've been talking about their budget. They've been talking about their budget. And this could have something to do with hiring the offensive coordinator as well too.
Budget. I don't want to hear any more about the cap from Ron. Like I said,
but the fact of the matter is,
except for one fucking worthless quarterback,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's not signing the checks, man.
No, I know.
Dan Snyder.
I know that.
He says, okay, say he wants to sign a big name linebacker. Just make an example. Big name linebacker. Dan Snyder saying
my point. It's not about whether Snyder signs it. It's not about that. What I don't want to hear is we don't have a cap space. That's what I don't want to hear.
Oh, no, okay, yeah, that's
because we've been saving cap. We've been frugal as shit. So don't tell me we don't have the cap to make moves.
It's not about the cap. How
they make the dollars. Ron has been, but see, that's how Ron has been. Ron has been like, oh, we need a linebacker. I'm not even going to think about that. No linebacker. I'm not spending a dime. And he has. We've been happy to spend on John Allen, and we've been happy to spend on Terry McLaurin, and we've been happy to spend on other minor players that we've kept around, and we've been able to say, okay, now we're starting to reward our own and build our own team. But at the same time, free agency has been cheap practically every year. They've done okay. They've hit some good players at lower level salaries, but they haven't taken any
bigger levels
except for the
salaries,
quarterbacks that they failed.
William Jackson III was a big salary.
See, that's
Samuel
one
was a
guy in
big salary.
3 years.
And then you have, it's multiple. Jackson, Samuel, and Carson Wentz. All those are bigger salary guys for their positions. I mean, Carson Wentz not really now, but
no. I understand. He was $28 million off the cap this year.
Yeah, but I think this year's going to be, and I'm sure everybody's going to blame Ron, but it would not surprise me if he can't spend the money because Dan Snyder won't sign the checks. It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either. But let's talk to somebody that's got a little bit of insight on that. Why don't you go ahead and get the phone book out and call Jerry on the phone, and let's see how owners handle this kind of shit. And we got to talk to him anyway about the Cowboys losing the 49ers. That should get us right back on track to the playoffs so we can get into the big and boss book. So here, let's try this. Let me see here. Hello,
Jerry.
Oh yeah,
the Cowboys lost. The Cowboys lost. How are you feeling?
Well, I got to tell you, what's today? Is it Friday?
It is Friday.
It's Friday, and I'm starting to come down. I got to tell you something, boys. Whenever the Cowboys lose, one of the best things about having your own 175-foot yacht is that you can get outside of the legal limit of practically anywhere and trip on just about anything you want to get over these very difficult times. And I think for the last, 3 or 4 days, I've been just floating somewhere near the equator in the South Pacific, high on peyote and mescaline, and drinking some tequila out of this girl's navel. At least I think it's a girl. I'm not 100% sure because she ain't rolled over in a while. But let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, Dak Prescott can suck on my big fat one.
Yeah, he wasn't too good during that game against San Francisco. Are you going to bring him back next year?
Listen,
you're going to try to trade him.
I got to tell you something. We have spent a lot of money on Dak, and I feel that I needs to get my dollar's worth out of Dak. And I got me, like I said, a 175-foot yacht, give or take 100 feet or so. And listen, the bottom line is somebody needs to wash this bad boy. And if Dak doesn't feel like he should be able to win a playoff game more than once, then goddamn it, he's going to get out here, and I'll be watching him through one of my portholes. After the summer, we'll decide what to do with him.
We were just talking about what's going to happen when Dan Snyder sells a team, and as far as signing players, do you have we know you're big on signing whoever you want, whenever you want.
That's right. Anybody Jerry wants, Jerry gets, and that's for goddamn sure, except for that Selma Hayek, that frigid bitch. I'm telling you what, I've thrown as much money at her as I can get, and I can't get a look at those titties to save my life.
God, Jerry, this is a family show here.
I'm telling you.
It's a family show.
Their mistake number one was calling me on the phone right after a loss, for crying out loud. Let me tell you something. After the Cowboys lose, the best place you can find me is in a goddamn heroin den, stark naked.
Jerry, what do you think? What do you think Washington is going to do during this kind of time of influx with Dan Snyder probably selling the team? I mean, do you think Dan's going to allow Ron to sign a couple big name free agents?
Well, I tell you something. If there's one thing I know about Dan is he is an ungodly prick. And I don't think that he would allow anybody to do anything with his money that he doesn't have full, complete control over. And up until this point, I've thought that for the Redskins or the Washington whatevers you guys call yourselves, I think that that's been the best way that things should have been, because Dan did nothing for that team but fuck it up. And I'm so glad to watch them fall down. It's just been so much fun for me, because as bad as the Cowboys have always been, I can always point over at the goddamn Redskins and laugh at them and say, anybody that wants to buy a brand new Dak Prescott jersey, come on over to cowboyshop.com and type in the promo code cut by March 3rd and go ahead and get yourself a 25% discount right now. But see, this is what Dan has done this for me. And I would like to do Dan the best service that I can and say that good fortunes and fair winds and following seas to you, good man. And if I ever see your yacht out here on the goddamned open seas, trust me, I will fire upon you as soon as I have the opportunity.
I was going to ask if you were sad to see Dan and Tanya go.
Well, if Tanya's on board, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to be firing the cannons except to shoot one over the bow. And then I'm boarding that thing with a sword in my teeth, and I'm going to haul her up and swing her back over there on it with a rope, just like they do in the movies. Good old Errol Flynn. I'll tell you something.
I hear you.
You know,
I hear you.
the one thing about peyote, boys, it makes you think you can do things that you used to be able to do when you was younger. I'll tell you. Right now, I'm struggling to get out of bed and take a piss.
Well, I feel bad for you, Jerry. I know you're depressed right now.
Well, you think you think I'm depressed right now? I just started to take a piss, and I haven't even got out of bed yet.
I guess we'll give you a call during the off season to catch up with your Dallas Cowboys.
Well, you might as well, because I ain't gonna be doing anything. God damn it, we're not going to the Super Bowl. It seems like everything's just gonna suck from here on out. Jerry out.
Jerry Jones, everybody. I swear, I don't understand why we don't have half the fans of the NFL listen to this podcast, because Jerry just never disappoints.
That's probably why he comes on our show, because half the fans of the NFL don't listen to it.
Yeah, listen, it's
I get a kick out of watching Scotty not laugh.
I was laughing.
I know, but you're trying to hold it back too. Who gives a shit? There's no freaking fourth.
I think here. I think one thing that fans expect, and I know we don't or anything like that, we have a little bit more common sense than most fans, is just to go out and get every expensive player that's available, and but then that's how you get yourself into trouble, like the LA Rams are in right now.
They won a Super Bowl though, so they can be at least happy with that.
They did, but they're in deep shit for the next 5 years at least. They don't have draft picks, they don't have fucking money, and you can say the cap is a myth all you want to.
It's not a myth, but you can manipulate it.
Sure.
All right. Now, see, if the Rams are in trouble, not necessarily because of the cap, it's because they threw away all their picks. Because that is how you manipulate the cap. That is how you affect the cap.
But you still have to have money to be able to bring in free agents. But they're going to next year. They're going to have practice squad players, especially if Aaron Donald. If Aaron Donald is really retiring, like
he was going to retire after that Super Bowl.
So. Yeah, they're in trouble. Anyways, let's get back to the Big and Boss book and make some bets, because I am going out to dinner with my kiddos. So let's get this over with.
Fucking A. Sounds like a Whopper Jr.
No, it's a Texas Roadhouse. It's Texas Roadhouse Friday.
I can't stand that advert.
Roadhouse Friday. Yeah, see that guy, whoever did that Whopper song, I knew that you were going to do that because you are susceptible.
Yeah, Burger King shit. Other restaurants are available.
Oh shit! I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't have that on. I thought I muted. Sorry.
Well, I'm not singing the Whopper song again then.
All right. So what do we got coming up here in the freaking week?
Damn
we only got 2 games to pick, so we're all right.
Exactly, 2 games. San Francisco at the Eagles.
Yeah,
right, is that the first game of the day?
Yeah, that is the 3:00 p.m. At Lincoln Financial Field. And listen, a lot of people are on the Eagles right now. The Eagles are the betting favorite right now, and I just don't understand it. I think this should be a pick'em game. And I'm going to tell you this, boys, I got the 49ers winning this game. And also, I just got them straight at winning, so they're going to beat the spread. So yeah.
What is the spread?
What is the line?
The line. I'm sorry. The line is 2.5. The Eagles are 2.5 point favorites. That just don't seem right to me. Over under is 46, and we got 2 good defenses playing. Yeah. I think that line's right, but I do like the over in this. I'm going to put 200 on the San Francisco 49ers. Plus 2.5, and then I'm going to match that up with the money line for a parlay and put another 200 on that.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, I don't rate the Eagles as much as everyone else is rating them. We obviously laid the blueprint. We're still the only team to defeat Jalen Hurts at quarterback this season. So I'm sticking to that, and I hope they join us on the couch very much. I mean, can you fucking imagine?
I just don't want to see the fucking Eagles in the goddamn Super Bowl.
No, neither do I. Neither do I.
Horrible. You know what I never understand is these people that say, well, if it can't be our team, let's hope it's somebody from the division.
Fuck no.
You know what? I want to see that everybody from the division.
I don't want anybody in NFC to win, to be honest with you.
Never. Fuck them.
especially a team that we've beaten already. Like we beat it that year. I think when we beat Tampa Bay and they went on to win the Super Bowl. Like
it's an insult.
Yeah.
The
Packers one year, I think the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl, we beat them that year. It pisses me off.
I'm going to take San Francisco. I'm going to put 200 on the money line to make about $4, and I'm going to put 100 on the under. I think this is going to be quite a tight game. I think both defenses are very, very good. Brock Purdy's going to. The pass rush that's going to come at him, he's never going to see anything like that. He kind of started.
He saw it last week.
Yeah, he saw the pass rush last week.
Yeah, he did. He kind of started to make a few Heineke type throws, hero ball here and there. There was a couple that I thought that was a bit tight. Outside the pocket, I'm not quite sure, but obviously McGlinchey at right tackle and Trent Williams at the left tackle, he's quite well covered. Do you know what I mean? From both sides.
The Eagles defense isn't as good as at least the pass rushers. They're not as good as the Cowboys pass rush.
They're better on the back end, though.
Yes, they are.
And I will say, all right, so Scotty, what are you picking?
So I'm picking San Francisco for the win, $200 on that, and the under, which is 46. I'm going to put 100 on the under.
Okay. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points, and I'm putting $300 down on it. They got the look. I would go ahead and say I'm not taking the over or the under because I think it's about right, and I think it might possibly be one of those games that's like 31-14. They could steamroll. Wow. The Niners have a good defense, but they also have. I keep saying it, and we keep looking at it. This rookie quarterback's got to show up soon.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, they have with the 49ers, you keep saying to yourself, how do they keep doing this with this kid Purdy? Wow, he must be really good. How do they keep doing this? And they have great weapons for him to work around with. But the Eagles, you know how they're doing it, and you know what they're going to do. They've got the look, and I'm saying that with quotations around it, the look. They've got the championship look. I'm riding them.
You just stopped for about 10 seconds there, John. We were all like,
really? Okay.
You went the Eagles, and then it just went
they've got the look. All right.
Okay.
They've got the look. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm laying the 2.5 points. I'm putting $300 down on that. And that's all I'm doing on that game.
I had a conversation at work today about this game. And one thing that the Eagles, if you can have the Eagles, the way to have them is through the run game. And one thing that San Francisco is the best in the league at is the run game. Also, the Eagles been steamrolling teams that don't have good defenses. They have had problems with teams that
they've steamrolled practically everybody.
Sure. But the San Francisco defense, they're going to get after. They're going to get after Hurts.
Hurts can move, and Hurts is a big boy on his own.
2, they have the linebackers to cover the middle of the field. 3, they have the defensive backs to cover the outside the field. If the Eagles want to have a chance to win this game, they're going to have to run the ball and score a lot of points. I don't see that. I just don't see that happening. I think San Francisco in their running game, because they're not just running with fucking Christian McCaffrey. They have Elijah Mitchell. They have Debo Samuel. I mean, people forget about Debo, man, but that kid, he is so fucking good.
They have a lot of weapons. I'll tell you what, Brandon Ayuk's a hell of a weapon too.
I was
Travis Kelce, possibly the best tight end in the league.
Travis Kelce's on.
Excuse me, the other one, George Kittle. Sorry, I get my. I look in my tight ends database, white guys named K, and they're one on the end. They're
see, and when I look at this game closely, I see this a perfect storm for the Niners. They're going to want to run the ball, but as soon as they get in that groove running the ball, then boom, dump to Kittle, boom. Fucking 20-yard pass to Ayuk, Debo Samuel running down the sideline. I think it's just too much for teams to handle, and I think the
weather's going to be nice.
The 49ers will take this game.
Well, Fred Warner's unbelievable as well. At
he's fired up. As you can see, Yam thinks it'll be a squeaker.
I do too. I really do. I think this will be very, very, very.
I think it's going to be within 5 points, but I personally, if it was if the Niners were favored by 2.5, I'd take the Niners and lay the points.
That's nothing but a hometown. They think this is an even game. All right.
Yeah.
I think that the difference is at quarterback. Jalen Hurts, I think, can hurt them. And I think that he number one, Miles Sanders is very good. Boston Scott is very good. They've got a good running game themselves in Philadelphia. They ran for 258 yards against the Giants, something like that. All right. So I think that what you have is the 49ers pass rush is outstanding.
And they're built to stop the run, too. Not only the pass rush, but
they
stop the run. Fred Warner's amazing, man. God, he's so good.
The Eagles have an ability to get deep. All right. They can get deep on you, and they can get deep on you quick. And that tends to open things up. And I think that you're going to see that.
Deep on you.
They get deep on you. All right. See, now you ain't got me all. I'm all off practice here.
Deep down.
But there you go. So I think yes, you can get Quiz Watkins down deep on the sideline.
I just think, listen, the Eagles got weapons too. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
AJ Brown starts to get loose.
But the thing about it is I think the back end of the Niners can matches up well with them too. I think all three levels of the Niners, they should be able to take him.
This is a fun game
and better coaching.
Coaching comes down to this.
I kind of like the Eagles coaching, and that's kind of surprising to me that none of their guys' names have been coming up in any of these coordinator searches.
There's a few. Yeah, there's.
Have we heard any?
Anthony Lynn for one.
I'm sorry.
You said Eagles coaching.
Yeah.
They're still young, though. I mean, Sirianni's still a young coach, and I think a lot of them are young.
I'm really looking forward to this game, and I think it will be the most exciting game of the weekend. Oh, well, excuse me. Let me say that in a way that it should work with the music. For the hottest game of the weekend.
The slickest.
Watch Jalen Hurts pump the 49ers.
All right, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is
I think this is the most entertaining game of the
It probably is, but I just don't like the Chiefs, man. They're starting to turn in. They're starting to turn. I hated the Patriots when Tom Brady when they won all those Super Bowls. And the Chiefs are
There's
sour.
people protesting outside my house right now because of that.
What's the line on this one then?
It's a pick 'em. It is a pick 'em. It is a pick 'em. And I am picking.
That's a slap to the Giants. I mean, excuse me, to the Chiefs. And that me mentioning the Giants is a thumbs up to the good people at Miller.
The over under is 48, and I'm going to pick the over. I'm picking the Bengals to win in the over, and I'm going to put 200 on the Bengals to win, and I'm going to put 100 on the over.
I think I'm going to do the exact same thing.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, guys.
But I'm taking the Bengals to win. I think that the Chiefs, they're running out of weapons. I mean, Pacheco is badass. Anytime you've got Holmes on the field,
Kelsey went on the injury report today.
What's he, questionable?
Yeah, he's back.
He'll play.
Yes, he will play. But Mahomes did suffer a high ankle sprain last
that's a terrible
week. That looked bad. But I did see clips today of him practicing. He will play, definitely play.
He'll play. How effective he'll be once he starts getting knocked around.
Yeah, that could. And the Bengals have been getting after quarterbacks. They've been rushing the passer very well lately. Their defense has been very underrated the second half of the season. But I just think it's going to be a little bit too much for Pat Mahomes, especially a little bit hobbled. He might not be able to have as much movement around in the pocket. Do a little scrambling like he has. He doesn't run a lot, but when he does,
he runs around a lot.
Yeah,
he runs around a lot.
So having a high ankle sprain, and
he does a lot of twisting and turning.
That's usually a 4 to 6 week injury right there. A high ankle sprain.
He'll be limping by the middle of the first quarter, I would say. I tell you what,
Burrow is back.
Burrow has never lost to the Chiefs.
And weirdly, they're calling it Burrowhead.
Birdio is planting a palm tree in his bunghole. Very good. That's nice. Wait till the coconuts fall down.
I'm pretty sure that's Keith.
Oh, yeah?
Might be.
I think so.
Jesus Christ. If he told me all this time that he made his fucking name being a troll, if that's the best he can do, Dude, you can't even spell bunghole. It's not a bun hole, you idiot. It's a bunghole. All right, a bun hole is a fucking oven.
He forgot
Christ.
the G.
He
All right,
always forgets
what
the
else
G.
we got, guys? Before we go, because I'm
So I'm
starving.
taking the Bengals.
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna,
sorry.
I'm going to
Sorry,
smash
Scotty.
300. No, it's okay. I'm
We
going to
don't
smash
care about your
300
fucking
on that.
bet. No, I'm just kidding.
Cheers, dude.
300 on the
On the
Bengals. Okay.
just on the Bengals.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm
I'm
that.
going to be different. I'm going to be different here because Vegas knows, and they always know, and the over under is 48. This will be like a 46-point game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to put 100 on the under.
Okay. All right. That's
So
all
was
right.
your wife all depressed that her new hat lost?
No daft hat. It's brilliant. Yeah. No, she was okay. Refs cheated us. Refs cheated.
Just let her know. That,
How's that not? Like,
Has the coach of the year been announced yet? I think Doug Peterson should be in strong consideration for that.
Peterson or Dable?
Yeah, I think Peterson. I don't think Dable. No, fuck Dable.
Yeah, fuck Dable. I think I would say fuck Dable, except I'm not into fat chicks. So.
Yeah.
Tell your wife that here in America, those of us that are intelligent realize that the officials can't fuck you out of a game. If you start to blame the officials, you just haven't seen all the fuck ups your own team.
I think there was a couple of questionable calls, like roughing the passer was done for Jacksonville at one stage, and the same thing happened to Lawrence, and there wasn't a flag.
Do you remember Ed Hockley told fucking Cam Newton after a play like that you're not old enough yet to get that call?
No, you're not. Yeah, you haven't been in
the league long enough.
He's not seasoned or something like that. I remember that.
I tell you what, I hate
this
more
year
than anything is when they say to me, "Oh, in the playoffs, they let them play it on the field." Well, you know what? Fuck that. October is the playoffs for half the fucking league.
Yeah.
No, listen, I think officiating overall this season, and this goes league wide, has been terrible.
It's never going to get better.
Probably one of the worst years we've seen.
It's never going to get better because they keep adding rules. What they try to do is they try to take a situation.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they try to take a situation and they try to legislate it out. And they can't legislate for everything. So when the gray areas start to happen, they try to make another rule. So now you got officials who are small, slow, and not as fast as these gigantic guys are trying to cover, running around trying to make.
And they're old.
Decisions.
They're fucking old. Their eyesight's got to be going down.
Most of them are in shape now.
Look at the Jamar Chase touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. I mean, I was like, dude, come on.
You know what? I do think that was a correct call. He did bobble that ball. He didn't have control of it when he went to the ground.
I know.
I hate that rule anyway. Because
but you're right. Until they make referees professional and they pay them a salary, I don't think this is going to get any better. And apparently, you're getting people who are lawyers, you're getting people who are in big business. They've got a full-time job doing that, and then on the weekend they're doing the refereeing. I think technology will come in place at some point to change it. They've got chips in the balls now that apparently they've had for 5 years, which we had no idea about. But the data that's used from the chip isn't enough at the moment. I mean, you could go down the tennis route and look at Hawkeye. We've got VAR in soccer, which is absolutely fucking awful. So do not use that for whatever reason.
Way to recommend that.
Oh, it's shocking.
Is that for offsides?
Offsides and penalties and stuff like that. And it's just
virtual augmented reality. Is that what that shit is?
It's like
it's
lines
making the
that come
shit
across.
up.
Like I could have a pinky offside and they'd call it and say no, it's no goal, and you're like, really? You know what I mean? Someone's knee's been offside. It's ruined the game of soccer or football.
See, that's the thing, and I blame Joe Theismann for this shit. I do. I honestly do, because back when he was on Monday Night Football, anytime a play would happen, Joe was the first one that I can remember that would go, oh, but wait a minute. Did the ball touch the blade of grass that was on the sidelines before?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
God. He was always, and
he does that shit still during preseason.
Let's go to the replay. And they would just go to that, and they transformed the game into such fucking minutia. I always say this. You want somebody up in the booth to make calls, put a fucking 12-year-old kid up there, a kid that plays in the street. He knows how to make the call. He knows whether to catch or not.
I do think there should be not off-site, but on-site official
up in the sky
that has zero to do. They like the on-field officials don't even know who they are. All right.
Yep.
And have someone making those calls.
That's right. They're up there calling down. We've got pass coming out number 20.
Yeah. I think that's
all
where
up in shadows up there. They're all pixelated out.
Just get out of this protection scheme.
Yeah, we're out of here. Jesse's
Yeah.
heading for Burger King. We'll see you guys next week here. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl coming up. And
We are.
yeah, we are. And we're going to spend the, $3.50 we made this week?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. We're heading for IHOP. See you next time. Oh, wait. I got to do this. Let's see here. All right. We're out of here.